Depression can creep up on you. You might not even be aware of it. But there are subtle signs to depression. Here are 7 signs of depression that you might not even be aware of. When a lot of people are depressed, they have an emotional pain. And that emotional pain takes priority. They see it as a clear and an immediate threat. That threat takes priority over any other need. Depression can lead to heart disease and reduced quality of life. And I know you don't want that. So here are 7 symptoms of depression that you might not be aware of. The first symptom of depression is weight gain. When we're depressed, we try to numb the emotional pain. And a lot of people numb the pain with food. Food provides quick dopamine. And with that dopamine, it helps alleviate the emotional pain. And this form of eating to feel better is called emotional eating.
I eat when I'm upset, okay?
Long-term emotional eating can result in significant weight gain. If you find the weight scale creeping up over time, you might be facing depression. The second sign of depression can be weight loss. We're in emotional pain. That takes priority. It takes priority over eating. These people don't have emotional eating. Instead, they would rather starve themselves. Some of that mindset is that they believe they don't deserve to eat. They're so depressed, they don't care about it. These type of people have really strong emotions, and it overrides any physical sensation. If you find yourself losing an unhealthy amount of weight without dieting or exercise, you might be depressed. The third sign and symptom of depression is irregular sleep patterns. It has been scientifically proven that when we're happy, we get better sleep. On the other hand, when we're depressed, we tend to lose a lot of sleep. And as a result of that lost sleep, we get tired and extend that wake up. So when we're stressed, we have spikes of cortisol in our system. And that stress prevents us from sleeping well. This type of person tends to have high anxiety, and they stress about a lot of things in life. As a result, their sleep pattern gets thrown off. They don't sleep on time, they wake up late, and they stay in bed longer. It's an evil cycle. So if you find your sleep patterns out of sync, you might be facing some depression. The fourth sign of depression may be excessive, risky behavior. And I don't mean just taking adventurous risks. I mean excessive risk that shouldn't be taken. A lot of people facing depression are looking for comfort.
The only hope is the sweet relief of death.
Another way they could find comfort is in a string of unprotected one-night stands. This short-term companionship helps them numb the pain of depression. Unfortunately, it doesn't go away. This type of person is usually very impulsive. They'll act out without thinking, and this behavior could result in excessive risks that shouldn't be taken. The fifth sign of depression could be isolation. Whether we want to admit it or not, we all want to be loved and cared for. And we find this in the comfort of friends and family. But when we isolate ourselves, we reduce all chances of that. A lot of people suffering from depression want to isolate themselves. Maybe they don't want to face embarrassment of having that pain. Usually, the people who isolate themselves are typically very introverted. We all need to connect with other people. It's a fundamental human need. So if you find yourself in isolation a lot from your friends and family, maybe you're facing a little bit of depression. The sixth sign of depression could be lack of movement. And this one's a little tricky because lack of movement is just a sign. It's a sign of energy. When we're depressed, we're really low on energy because we feel a deep emotional pain. And with that recovery, we don't want to spend a lot of energy moving. On the other hand, when we're happy, we have so much energy that we have no choice but to move around and celebrate. A lot of people in the white-collar industry or in the academic field lack movement in their jobs. As a result, they tend to get depressed. So it's not depression that causes lower movement, but it's the opposite. It's the lower movement that's causing depression. And the final sign of depression could be lack of motivation. And this one's a little easier to see the signs of, but it's a lot harder to cure. People who lack motivation often don't see long-term survival goals. They like living in the moment. So when their one operative goal is gone, they no longer see the long-term goal. It's important to have a balanced view of life. You can't live for one purpose. This imbalance of needs can drive you crazy if it disappears. Living an imbalanced life can be great in the short term, but in the long term, you have to consider having balanced goals. Usually, the people who have an imbalanced view on life are very narrowly focused. These people can also be seen as very narrow-minded. But if you find yourself very narrow-minded or very focused on one goal, it might be a good idea to step back a little bit and find some balance in those goals. What do you guys think? Are there any signs of depression that I missed? Are there any signs of depression that you are going through? Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, guys, never give up on yourself.